I thought I had it all figured out. At 27, I had a career I loved, a woman I wanted to marry, and a family I trusted with my life. Amanda and I had been together for 3 years, planning our future down to the color of curtains in our first home. My brother Brad was my best man in waiting. My parents were ready to welcome her as their daughter. Everything felt right, until the day I discovered my girlfriend was 6 months pregnant with my brother's child. And when I confronted them, my parents looked me in the eyes and called it God's plan. Before I dive into what destroyed my family, let me know where you are watching from. Hit that like button and subscribe if you believe family loyalty should go both ways. Now let me show you what happens when blind faith replaces common sense. I met Amanda at a coffee shop downtown on a rainy Tuesday morning. She was sitting by the window grading papers with red pen marks scattered across her desk like small wounds. I accidentally bumped her table, nearly spilling her latte. She looked up with these warm brown eyes and laughed instead of getting angry. That laugh changed everything. We talked for 2 hours that day. She taught second grade at an elementary school across town. I worked as a software developer at a tech startup. We were different in so many ways, but somehow it just worked. 3 years later, we were looking at engagement rings online. Amanda would send me screenshots of the ones she liked, always adding little comments like, "Too fancy," or "This one feels like us." We talked about buying a house in the suburbs, maybe getting a dog, starting a family in a few years. Nothing extravagant, just a simple, honest life together. I was ready to give her everything I had. My family meant the world to me back then. My parents raised us in a small house on the edge of town, always talking about faith and family values. They were devout Christians, the kind who never missed Sunday service, and saw divine intervention in everything from parking spots to weather changes. Dad worked in construction for 30 years before retiring. Mom volunteered at the church food bank. They were good people, or so I thought. Brad was 3 years older than me. Growing up, he was the golden child. Charming, funny, always knew what to say to make people smile. But somewhere along the way, he stopped trying. By the time he hit 30, he was jobless, bouncing between mom and dad's couch and a tiny apartment they paid for. He had this way of explaining away his failures. "The economy is tough," he would say. "I am between opportunities right now. My parents ate it up every time. Brad just needs time to find his path," Mom would tell me. "God has a plan for him." I wanted Amanda to meet them. I wanted her to see where I came from, to understand the values I grew up with. So I arranged a family dinner at my parents' house on a Saturday evening in late September. Mom made her famous pot roast. Dad set the table with the nice plates they only used for holidays. Brad showed up in a button-down shirt I had never seen before, probably borrowed. The evening started perfectly. Amanda brought homemade brownies and a bouquet of sunflowers for Mom. Dad asked her about teaching, genuinely interested in her stories about second graders learning to read. Mom kept refilling her glass of iced tea and patting her hand. "You are such a sweetheart," she kept saying. "Dwayne is lucky to have you." But Brad was different that night. He sat across from Amanda, asking question after question. Where did she grow up? What made her want to teach? Did she have siblings? At first I thought he was just being a good brother, trying to make her feel welcome. But there was something in the way he looked at her, something that made my stomach tighten just a little bit. He laughed too hard at her jokes. He leaned in too close when she talked. And Amanda, sweet Amanda, thought he was just being friendly. After dinner, we all sat in the living room. Brad suggested showing Amanda old family photos. She loved that idea. They sat on the couch together, flipping through albums, while I helped Mom clean up in the kitchen. Through the doorway, I could see them laughing, heads bent close together. "Brad seems to really like her," Mom said, smiling as she scrubbed a plate. "It is so nice to see him happy. He has been through so much." When we left that night, Amanda squeezed my hand in the car. "Your family is wonderful," she said. "Your brother is so sweet. I can see where you get your kindness from." I smiled and kissed her forehead, but that small knot in my stomach would not go away. The next few weeks felt normal. Amanda and I fell back into our routine. Work, dinner dates, lazy Sundays watching movies. But she started mentioning Brad more often. "Your brother texted me a funny meme. Brad recommended this great restaurant. I ran into Brad at the grocery store. Little things, nothing alarming." I told myself I was being paranoid. Then one Saturday afternoon, I decided to surprise my parents. I had picked up barbecue from their favorite place and thought I would drop by for lunch. Dad loved their brisket. When I pulled into their driveway, I saw Amanda's silver Honda Civic parked on the street. My heart stopped for just a second. Why was she here? She told me she was spending the day at home grading papers and preparing lesson plans for the next week. I walked in, without knocking like I always did. The house was quiet, too quiet. Then I heard laughter from the living room. I walked in, and there they were. Amanda and Brad, sitting on the couch less than a foot apart. The television was on some comedy show I did not recognize. They were laughing completely comfortable, like they had done this 100 times before. Amanda jumped when she saw me. "Dwayne, hey, what are you doing here?" Her voice went up an octave. Brad did not flinch. He just smiled his easy smile. "Hey man, good to see you. I could ask you the same thing I said, trying to keep my voice steady. I thought you were home grading papers." Amanda stood up quickly, smoothing her jeans. I was planning to. But your mom called this morning and asked if I could drop off some books for the church fundraiser. She needed them organized by genre. I was driving by anyway, so I said yes. "Yeah," Brad added, stretching his arms over his head casually. "Mom needed help moving boxes, too. Heavy stuff." Amanda showed up right when I was about to start. Perfect timing. "Where are Mom and Dad?" I asked. "Church event," Brad said. "Some planning committee thing for the Christmas bazaar. They left about an hour ago." An hour. They had been alone together for an hour. I looked at Amanda. She would not quite meet my eyes. "Well," I said slowly, "I brought barbecue. Guess it will keep." Amanda walked over and kissed my cheek. "Do not be silly. I love you. Your mom really did need help." She grabbed her purse. "I should get going anyway. Those papers are not going to grade themselves." She left quickly. Brad stayed on the couch, scrolling through his phone like nothing had happened. I wanted to say something to ask him what the hell was going on, but I had no proof. No real reason to accuse him of anything. So I just set the barbecue on the kitchen counter and left. That night, Amanda texted me like everything was normal. "Love you. Sleep tight." I stared at those words for a long time before typing back. "Love you too." But the knot in my stomach had grown into something heavier. Something that kept me awake until 3 in the morning, staring at the ceiling and trying to convince myself I was wrong. The next 3 months were torture. Amanda became a ghost in our relationship. She was there, but not really. Her texts became shorter. Our dinner dates got canceled more often. She was tired. She was busy. She had meetings after school. She needed to help her sister. Always an excuse. Always delivered with an apologetic smile that did not quite reach her eyes. I started noticing little things. The way she checked her phone, constantly smiling at messages she would not share. The new perfume she started wearing. The fact that she stopped talking about our future together. No more house hunting websites. No more engagement ring screenshots. Just vague nods when I brought up next year's plans. One night I asked her directly. We were at her apartment, eating takeout Chinese food on her couch. "Is everything okay between us?" I said, setting down my chopsticks. "You seem distant lately." She looked at me then, and for a split second I saw something in her face. Guilt, maybe. Or sadness. "I am just stressed with work," she said softly. "End of semester stuff. You know how it is." But she could not hold my gaze. She looked down at her lo mein, instead pushing noodles around with her fork. "Amanda," I said, "if something is wrong, you can tell me. We can work through anything." She reached over and squeezed my hand. "I know, and I love you for that. I am fine. Really. Just give me a little time to get through this rough patch." I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to believe her so badly. So I nodded and kissed her forehead and pretended that everything was fine. But it was not fine. And deep down I knew it. Meanwhile, Brad was changing too. Suddenly he had money, new clothes, a better car. He started talking about business opportunities and investments. My parents were thrilled. See, Mom said one Sunday after church. "We told you God had a plan for Brad. He is finally getting his life together." Dad clapped Brad on the shoulder, beaming with pride. "I always knew you had it in you, son." I asked Brad what kind of work he was doing. We were standing in my parents' backyard drinking beers, while Dad grilled burgers. "Freelance consulting," he said vaguely, "helping small businesses with their digital presence. It is good money." "That is great," I said, watching his face. "Who are your clients?" He took a long drink of beer. couple of local shops, a restaurant downtown. You know, word of mouth stuff. He changed the subject before I could ask more questions. Something was happening. Something I could not quite see, but could feel in every interaction, every canceled plan, every vague answer. I felt like I was losing my mind, seeing connections that maybe were not there. Or maybe they were, and I was the only one brave enough or stupid enough to look. Then came the afternoon that changed everything. I left work early with a migraine. The fluorescent lights in the office had been killing me all day, and my boss told me to just go home and rest. I was going to call Amanda, maybe ask if I could come over and lie down in her quiet apartment. But then I remembered we had shared our locations with each other months ago, back when we first started dating. It was a trust thing. A "see, I have nothing to hide" gesture. I opened the app on my phone. Amanda was not at school. It was 3 in the afternoon on a Wednesday. She should have been in her classroom teaching. But according to the little blue dot on my screen, she was across town, in the West Side apartment complex, the exact same complex where Brad lived. My heart started pounding so hard I thought I might throw up. There had to be an explanation. Maybe she was visiting someone else in the building. Maybe the location was wrong. Maybe I was jumping to conclusions. But my hands were shaking as I started my car and drove across town. The complex was one of those cheap places, with peeling paint and rusty railings. Brad's apartment was on the second floor. I parked down the street where I could see the building entrance but would not be obvious. Amanda's car was there, right there in the parking lot, in the space marked for apartment 212. Brad's apartment. I sat there for almost 2 hours. I told myself I would leave if nothing happened. I told myself I was being crazy, but I could not move. I just sat there, gripping my steering wheel, barely breathing. And then the door opened. Amanda came out first. She was wearing a blue sundress I had never seen before. Her hair was down, flowing over her shoulders in soft waves. She looked happy, genuinely happy. The kind of happy I had not seen on her face in months. Brad came out behind her. He wrapped his arm around her waist, pulling her close. She laughed at something he said, tilting her head back. Then he kissed her. Right there in the doorway of his apartment. Not a quick peck. A real kiss. The kind of kiss you give someone you love. The kind of kiss she used to give me. I could not breathe. The world went fuzzy around the edges. My chest felt like someone had reached in and squeezed my heart until it burst. This could not be happening. This could not be real. But it was. I was watching it happen right in front of me. They pulled apart. Amanda said something and smiled. Brad kissed her forehead. She walked to her car, and he watched her go with this soft expression on his face, like she was the most precious thing in the world. I waited until her car was gone. Then I waited until Brad went back inside. Then I sat there for another 30 minutes, trying to remember how to be a person, trying to figure out what the hell I was supposed to do with this information. I wanted to storm up those stairs and break down his door. I wanted to scream. I wanted to cry. But I did none of those things. Instead, I drove home in complete silence, went inside my apartment, sat on my couch, and stared at the wall until the sun went down. I needed more than what I had seen. I needed to hear it from her. I needed her to say the words. Because maybe somehow there was still a chance I was wrong. Maybe the universe was not that cruel. 2 weeks passed. 2 weeks of pretending everything was normal while I died inside. Amanda texted. I texted back. She called. I answered. We even had dinner once, sitting across from each other at an Italian restaurant, making small talk like strangers. She still would not look me in the eye. I did not tell her what I had seen. Not yet. Then she called me on a Thursday evening. Can we meet tomorrow? She asked. Her voice sounded strange, hollow. There is something I need to tell you. Okay, I said. My voice came out calmer than I felt. Where? That coffee shop where we met tomorrow at 3? I will be there. I did not sleep that night. I lay in bed, running through every possible scenario in my head. Maybe she was going to break up with me. Maybe she was going to confess. Maybe she was going to lie. I did not know which would hurt more. I got to the coffee shop 15 minutes early and ordered a black coffee I could not drink. My hands were shaking too much to hold the cup steady. At 3:02, Amanda walked in. She looked terrible, pale, thin, dark circles under her eyes like she had not slept in days. She ordered a chamomile tea and sat down across from me. For a long moment, neither of us said anything. The coffee shop buzzed around us with the sounds of other people living their normal lives. Finally, Amanda spoke. "Dwayne, I need to tell you something." Her voice cracked. "And I do not know how to say it." "Just say it," I said quietly. She took a shaky breath. Tears were already forming in her eyes. "I am pregnant." The world stopped. Even though I knew something was coming, even though I had prepared myself, hearing those words still hit me like a truck. "Is it mine?" I asked. My voice sounded like it was coming from very far away. She shook her head. Tears spilled down her cheeks. "It is Brad's." A sob escaped her throat. "I am so sorry, Dwayne. I did not mean for this to happen. I never wanted to hurt you." "How long?" The question came out flat. Empty. 6 months, she whispered. "It started after that first dinner at your parents' house. We connected. And then it kept happening. And I tried to stop it. I really did. But I fell in love with him. 6 months. Half a year. All those canceled plans. All those lies. All while I was looking at engagement rings and planning our future. Why did you not just tell me?" I asked. "Why did you keep pretending I did not know?" How she cried. "I did not want to hurt you. And I kept thinking maybe it would stop. Maybe I could fix things. But then I found out about the baby, and I knew I had to tell you." I stood up. My chair scraped loudly against the floor. People looked over. I did not care. "I have to go," I said. "Dwayne, please." Amanda reached for my hand. "Can we talk about this?" I pulled my hand away. "Talk about what, Amanda? You are having my brother's baby. You have been lying to me for half a year. What is there to talk about?" I walked out of that coffee shop and did not look back. I got in my car and drove straight to my parents' house. If Amanda and Brad thought they could do this to me, fine. But my parents deserved to know. They deserved to see what their golden child had done. I did not knock. I walked right in. Mom was in the kitchen making dinner. Dad was reading the newspaper in his recliner. And Brad was sitting on the couch scrolling through his phone like he did not have a care in the world. They all looked up when I stormed in. "Did you know?" I said. My voice was louder than I intended. "Did you all know?" Brad set down his phone slowly. He did not even have the decency to look guilty. "Know what?" Dad asked, folding his newspaper. "About Brad and Amanda," I said. "About the fact that my brother got my girlfriend pregnant." Mom gasped. Dad stood up. Brad just sat there watching me with this calm expression. "Man, I am sorry," he finally said. "We fell in love. These things happen. These things happen," I repeated. "These things happen. You slept with my girlfriend for 6 months, and that is what you have to say, Dwayne's son. Calm down." Dad walked toward me, hands raised like he was approaching a wild animal. "Let us talk about this rationally." Rationally? I could not believe what I was hearing. "My brother got my girlfriend pregnant, and you want me to be rational, Dwayne? Watch your tone." Mom's voice was sharp. "Brad and Amanda came to us last week. They are getting married. They wanted our blessing." The room spun. "You knew for a week, and nobody told me." "We were praying about the best way to tell you," Dad said. "We did not want to hurt you. Did not want to hurt me." I laughed, but there was no humor in it. "You let me walk around like an idiot, while everyone else knew my life was falling apart." "We wanted to wait for the right time," Brad said. He still looked calm. Like, this was all just a minor inconvenience. "The right time? She is 6 months pregnant, Brad. 6 months. When exactly was the right time?" "Lower your voice," Mom said sternly. "This is God's plan, Dwayne. Whether you understand it or not." I stared at her. At this woman who raised me, who taught me about right and wrong, who took me to church every Sunday, and told me to treat people with kindness. "God's plan," I said slowly. "You think God planned for my brother to betray me, to steal my girlfriend and get her pregnant?" "Yes," Dad said firmly. "God works in mysterious ways. Brad and Amanda are meant to be together. The baby is a blessing, a gift. You need to accept that. And you," Mom pointed at me, "need to forgive them and move on. Family is family, Dwayne. We do not turn our backs on family." I looked at Brad. He shrugged slightly. Like to say, "What can you do?" That small gesture broke something in me. "You are actually okay with this," I said to my parents. "You are actually taking his side." "There are no sides," Dad said. "There is only God's will. Brad made a mistake, yes, but he is trying to do the right thing now. He is going to marry Amanda, and raise their child. That takes courage. Courage, I repeated numbly. Yes, Mom said, and we are going to support them. We have already started planning the wedding. It will be at the church in 2 months. We would like you to be there, but if you cannot be happy for your brother, then maybe it is best you stay away. The room went quiet. I stood there looking at these 3 people who were supposed to love me, supposed to protect me, supposed to give a damn about my feelings. But all I saw were strangers. You are planning their wedding, I said. You are actually planning their wedding. Of course we are, Mom said. Brad needs our support right now. He is going to be a father. And what about me? My voice cracked. I was going to marry her. I was planning my whole life around her. Does that matter at all? You will find someone else, Brad said casually. Amanda and I have a child to think about. This is bigger than your feelings, dude. Something snapped. Do not call me dude. Do not act like we are friends. You destroyed my life, and you are sitting there like you did me a favor. I did not destroy anything, Brad said, finally showing some emotion. You and Amanda were not meant to be. I did you a favor by showing you that. Boys, please, Mom said. This fighting is not helping anyone. Oh, I am done fighting, I said. I looked at my parents. How are you paying for this wedding? They exchanged a glance. Dad cleared his throat. We have been saving. Saving with what money? You are retired. You live on Social Security and Dad's pension. Then it hit me. The $20,000. The money I gave you last year to fix the roof and update the plumbing. Neither of them answered. That was answer enough. You used my money, I said slowly. You took the money I gave you, and you are using it to throw a wedding for the man who ruined my life. It is not your money, Dad said. We are family. What is ours. We all share. Besides, Mom added, Brad needs this. He needs a good start for his new family. He has been through so much. I could not breathe. The walls were closing in. What about what I have been through? What about my pain? You are young, Dad said. You will heal. You will move on. Brad has a child coming. His needs are greater than yours right now. I looked at each of them one more time. My mother, who taught me to read. My father, who taught me to ride a bike. My brother, who I used to look up to. They were staring back at me like I was being unreasonable, like I was the problem. I am done, I said quietly. Do not contact me. Do not call me. Do not show up at my apartment. I am not coming to your wedding. I am not part of this family anymore. Dwayne, do not be dramatic, Mom said. Dramatic. You all betrayed me and called it God's plan. You used my money to reward that betrayal. And you expect me to smile and accept it. I am out. You will regret this, Dad said. Family is forever. You cannot just walk away. Then I guess I do not have a family, I said. I turned and walked toward the door. Dwayne, Mom called after me. You are making a mistake. I stopped at the door and looked back one last time. No, I said. The mistake was trusting any of you. I walked out of that house and got in my car. I drove 3 blocks before I had to pull over, because I could not see through the tears. I sat there in some random parking lot and cried for the first time since I was a kid. Not quiet tears. Ugly gasping sobs that shook my whole body. I cried for Amanda, for Brad, for my parents, for the family I thought I had, for the future I thought I was building, for every lie and every betrayal. But somewhere in that parking lot, between the tears and the pain, I made myself a promise. I would survive this. I would build a better life. And I would prove to all of them that I did not need them to be happy. They made their choice. Now I would make mine. I blocked their numbers that night. Brad, Amanda, Mom, Dad, all of them. I deleted every photo, every text message, every reminder that they ever existed in my life. It hurt worse than anything I had ever felt. But I did it anyway, because staying connected to them would have killed me. 5 years is a long time. Long enough to heal. Long enough to rebuild. Long enough to become someone completely different from the broken man who cried in a parking lot after losing everything. The first year was hell. I threw myself into work because it was the only thing that made sense. Code did not lie. Code did not betray you. You put in the work, you got the results. Simple, clean, honest. My boss noticed. 6 months after everything fell apart, he promoted me to senior developer with a 20% raise. I took every extra project they offered. I worked late nights and weekends. I learned new programming languages. I became the person everyone came to when they had a problem. Year 2, I got headhunted by a bigger company. They offered me double my salary and full benefits. I took it without hesitation. The new job was intense, but I loved it. I loved having something to focus on besides the hollow space where my family used to be. I moved to a better apartment. Started going to the gym because I needed something to do with all the anger still churning inside me. Made new friends through work. People who did not know about my past, who did not look at me with pity. Just normal people living normal lives. Year 3, I met Jenna at a work conference. She was an architect, smart and funny with this quiet confidence that drew me in. We talked for hours about building design and city planning, and absolutely nothing related to my past. She made me laugh for the first time in years. When the conference ended, I asked for her number. She said yes. We took it slow. I was honest with her from the start about my trust issues, about what my family had done. She listened without judgment. People will show you who they are, she said. It is up to you whether you believe them. That simple statement changed something in me. 9 months later, I asked her to marry me. Not because I was trying to replace Amanda or prove something to anyone, but because Jenna made me want to build a life again. Because she showed me that not everyone lies. Not everyone betrays you. Some people actually mean what they say. We bought a small house in the suburbs with a yard and a garage. Nothing fancy, just ours. I hung pictures of Jenna and our friends on the walls. No family photos. No reminders of people who chose to hurt me. Just the life I was building from scratch. I thought about them sometimes. Brad and Amanda. Mom and Dad. I wondered if they were happy. If their marriage lasted. If they ever felt guilty. But mostly, I did not think about them at all. They became like characters from a book I read once, and barely remembered. Not real people, just shadows from another life. Then one evening in late October, I came home from work to find 2 people sitting on my front porch. At first, I did not recognize them. The woman was thin, wearing a worn coat that had seen better days. The man beside her looked decades older than he should, his shoulders bent under some invisible weight. Then the woman looked up, and I saw my mother's eyes. My keys felt heavy in my hand. My first instinct was to get back in my car and drive away. But I did not. I walked up the path slowly, each step feeling like it took forever. They stood up as I approached. Mom's eyes filled with tears. Dad's jaw was clenched tight. "Hi, baby mom," said softly. Her voice was older, tired. Nothing like the strong, certain voice that used to tell me what God wanted. "What are you doing here?" I asked. My voice came out colder than I intended. Or maybe it came out exactly as cold as I intended. "We needed to see you," Dad said. "Can we talk?" Just for a few minutes, I should have said no. I should have told them to leave, but curiosity got the better of me. Or maybe it was that small part of me that was still their son, still hoping for an apology, still wanting them to see what they had done. 5 minutes, I said. "You can talk on the porch." They sat back down. I stayed standing. Mom wrung her hands in her lap. Dad stared at his shoes. Finally, Dad spoke. "We were wrong, Dwayne. About everything. We are so sorry." I waited. Sorry was not enough. Not after 5 years. Not after everything. "Why are you here?" I asked again. Mom started crying. "Brad is gone. He took everything from us. Every penny we had. He took out loans in our names, maxed out credit cards we did not know. He had forged our signatures on papers we never saw. Then he disappeared. We had to sell the house to pay off the debt. We are living in a 1-bedroom apartment on the east side now. Our retirement is gone. Everything is gone." And Amanda, I asked, though I was not sure I cared. "She left him 2 years ago," Dad said. "Took their daughter and moved to another state. Brad never paid child support. He just vanished. We have not heard from him in 8 months." There was a long silence. I let them sit in it. Let them feel uncomfortable. Finally, Mom looked up at me with red, swollen eyes. "We need help, Dwayne. We have nowhere else to turn. You are our son. We were hoping you might let us stay here for a while. Just until we get back on our feet." I looked at these 2 people who used to be my parents. They looked small now, broken, the same way they made me feel 5 years ago. Part of me wanted to feel satisfaction. To say "I told you so," or "how does it feel?" but mostly I just felt tired. No, I said simply. Please, Dad said. We are begging you. We made a mistake. We see that now. We were wrong to choose Brad over you. Wrong to call it God's plan. Wrong to use your money. We were wrong about everything. You were. I agreed. You were wrong about all of it. So you will help us, Mom asked hopefully. No, I said again. I will not. But we are your parents, Mom said. Does that not mean anything to you? I thought about that question. Thought about all the times I needed them, and they chose Brad instead. All the times they dismissed my pain as drama, or immaturity, or a lack of faith. You stopped being my parents when you chose Brad over me, I said quietly. When you looked me in the eyes and told me that my girlfriend cheating on me with my brother was God's plan. When you used my money to throw them a wedding. You stopped being my parents a long time ago. We made a mistake, Dad said desperately. Please. We have nowhere else to go. You should have thought about that before I said. Before you decided that Brad's feelings mattered more than mine. Before you told me to forgive and move on while he destroyed my life, you made your choice. You chose Brad. You chose to believe his lies about business opportunities and freelance consulting. You chose to enable him instead of helping him grow up. Those were your choices. Now you get to live with them. So you were just going to turn your back on us, Mom asked. There was anger in her voice now. After everything we did for you, after raising you and feeding you and putting a roof over your head, you mean the same way you turned your back on me when I needed you, I said. I am not turning my back on you. I am just refusing to light myself on fire to keep you warm. There is a difference. I pulled out my phone and found the contact information for a senior assistance program and a local shelter that specialized in helping older adults. I texted both numbers to Dad's phone. These people can help you, I said. They have resources, programs, support systems, but it will not come from me. You cannot be serious, Dad said, staring at his phone. I am completely serious, I said. I hope you find the help you need. I really do. But that help will not come from me. Mom stood up, her face red with anger and desperation. You are heartless. We raised you better than this. No, I said calmly. You raised me to believe that family mattered, that loyalty mattered, that faith and trust mattered. Then you showed me that none of that was true, at least not when it came to me. You raised me to expect better from the people who claim to love me. So thank you for that lesson. It served me well. Dwayne, please, Dad tried one more time. We are sorry. We are truly, deeply sorry. Is that not enough? I looked at him. At this man who taught me how to throw a baseball and change a tire, who used to ruffle my hair and call me sport, who stood in his living room and told me that Brad's needs were greater than mine because he had a baby coming. Sorry is just a word, Dad. It does not undo the damage. It does not give me back the 2 years I spent rebuilding myself. It does not erase the fact that when I needed you most, you chose someone else. I walked past them to my front door and unlocked it. Before going inside, I turned back one more time. I hope you figure things out, I said. I genuinely do. But you taught me something important 5 years ago. You taught me that sometimes the people who hurt you the most are the ones who are supposed to protect you. And once someone shows you who they really are, it is okay to believe them. Goodbye. I went inside and closed the door. Through the window, I watched them sit on my porch for another 10 minutes, not moving, just sitting there like they could not believe what had just happened. Finally, they stood up and walked slowly down my driveway, got into an old sedan I did not recognize, and drove away. Jenna came out of the bedroom where she had been giving us privacy. She did not say anything. Just wrapped her arms around me and held on tight. Are you okay? She finally asked. Yeah, I said. And the strange thing was I meant it. I did not feel guilty. I did not feel cruel. I felt free. Like I had been carrying this weight for 5 years, always wondering what I would do if they came back, if they apologized. Now I knew. Now it was done. Do you regret it? Jenna asked later that night. We were sitting on our couch, her head on my shoulder, both of us quiet. Not for a second, I said. I learned that family is not about blood. It is about respect. It is about showing up when things are hard. It is about choosing to see someone's pain instead of dismissing it. They did not do any of that for me. So no, I do not regret it. She squeezed my hand. I am proud of you. That must have been hard. It was hard, but it was also necessary. Some people will only realize your worth after they have lost everything and everyone else. After they have burned every bridge and spent every dollar and have nowhere left to turn, and by then it is too late. Their absence of remorse, when it mattered, their unwillingness to see your pain when you needed them, that does not disappear just because they are suffering now. God's plan. That phrase used to haunt me. My parents wielded it like a weapon, using faith as an excuse to avoid accountability. But here's what I learned. Real faith does not excuse cruelty. Real love does not ask you to accept betrayal in the name of family. Real forgiveness does not mean allowing people to hurt you over and over again while you smile and take it. I built a good life after they threw me away. A life with people who show up, who tell the truth, who choose me every single day. Jenna and I got married 6 months after my parents showed up on my porch. Our wedding was small. Just close friends and people who actually cared about us. No church, no religious overtones. Just two people promising to respect and protect each other, the way it should be. Sometimes I wonder where Brad is, if he ever thinks about what he did, if Amanda regrets the choices she made, if my parents ever realized that their blind devotion to Brad destroyed 2 sons instead of saving one. But those thoughts do not keep me up anymore. They are just questions without answers, and I have learned to be okay with that. What I know for sure is this: some people will show you exactly who they are in moments of crisis. When your girlfriend gets pregnant with your brother's child, and your parents call it God's will, they are telling you that your pain does not matter, that your feelings are negotiable, that you are not worth protecting. And when someone tells you that, believe them. Do not wait around hoping they will change. Do not sacrifice yourself trying to earn love that should have been freely given. Just walk away and build something better. I did. And I have never been happier. So let me ask you something, wherever you are watching this from. Have you ever had to walk away from family because they refused to see your worth? Have you ever chosen yourself over people who were supposed to choose you first? Drop a comment and let me know your story. And if this resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe. Share this with someone who needs to hear that it is okay to set boundaries, even with family. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope it reminds you that you deserve people who fight for you, not against you. Take care of yourselves. You are worth more than you know.